Welcome to Warhammer 40K Imperium Maledictum Iron Archipelago, episode 13. We're here for what Velamris Quineel would call a good time. Speaking of Velamris Quineel, as played by Omar Cree, Grimdark Podcast, joining us as Holly Van der Velt, and KainDamael as Rassie Van Lucht. I am your game master, your narrator, and slowly descending into madness person, APGamingREAL. Last episode, I lost power pretty early on. And I guess the end of the episode cut was everybody else dropping off of Zoom and the lights flashing behind me in a sort of Kubrickian, and then it just ended. So hey, welcome YouTube. You're on the next episode.
You lost power in your channel a long time before last week.
Wow.
The deep cut. The deep cut is real.
Last week we met Conrad von Erner, a person who has joined your team, has joined Rassie's employ, I should say, as a tutor in the ways of the Imperial governance. And I think that's about it. That's pretty much 100% of what happened was we met Conrad von Erner.
Yeah, from memory, we were in the
interrogations.
Oh, yes, you had your performance interrogations. Yes, yes.
But we were in the transport on the way to the office with Conrad reciting stuff for Rassie, I think, and that's when you cut out before we got to the office.
Yeah, I think right near the end I had made a comment about him T-posing as he floated along beside us.
We come back in at the office in a sort of 80s sitcom way where, like, Gropsis walks around the corner with a mop. This is the little, like, rat mutant man that is the janitor for your floor, and you know, like, he walks around the corner and it sounds like it's a studio audience going like, hey, and like cheering and clapping, but then the camera turns and it's workers at the building who just like Gropsis. Like, everybody likes Gropsis. It's so weird. It's almost like he has some sort of mutation to make people like him instead of ruthlessly butcher him.
Are there any rumors in the office about how he did his performance interrogation?
He doesn't get paid. He doesn't officially work here.
He's an intern.
I mean, he exists here and he takes out garbage and he does work so that no one kills him. You know what I mean?
You can put an intern or volunteer on PIP. I'm just saying.
Wow, Grimdark James revealing some grimdark truths.
Oh, man.
Intern on a pip. What is the point?
The point, Arthur, is improvement.
Oh man,
I wouldn't know about that. I've never improved at anything in my life.
That could be why you lost power.
Wow. You don't think the massive thunderstorm was the problem? And apparently we also still need to have a musical, a whole musical episode. It's something that someone sent me just to make sure I don't forget. But yeah, this is your episode. This is your time. You've completed your thermometer bubbles. Holly has a plan.
Yeah, you say it's our episode, but I think this is Holly's episode.
I don't know. It depends how fast all my stuff comes. I need to be careful. I need to space up my feet, so I can't push ahead with the.
Come on, James. Join the rest of us. You spend them in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't need those big points.
I spent none. Neither did you guys spend the last episode. So.
Well, the last episode was 30 minutes. So.
I didn't get a chance to. Otherwise, I would have done them before the first break. The thunderstorm had other ideas.
Yeah. Thunderstorm was my fate point.
So what have we got on the table? Like I said, I still have meetings that I need to do. I'm gearing. I'm trying to remember where I actually got to with my plan. Did I? Because I know that I'm gearing up for a big tribunal. But I don't think I've called that yet.
Correct.
No. So
your plan has not started in any way.
I mean, I've spoken with a couple of people that I need to speak to. I spoke with the I don't think I've spoken with the missionary yet. Was it Lyra, the missionary?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
definitely spoke Lila. I definitely spoke with the Crusader and with the other miscellaneous.
Evandriel?
Yes.
Preacher.
The preacher. That's
Are
it.
you sure you didn't meet with Lila? I'm pretty sure. I didn't write this down. I'm pretty sure you talked to one of them. You tried to manipulate them, and they were literally like, "Bam!"
Yeah, that was Evandriel.
Okay, yeah.
That was Evandriel.
They were like,
yeah.
"How dare you suggest how to do my job to me?"
Yeah. So, yes, the Crusader I got on side, Evandriel was completely offside, but I did record that conversation as well with my
Yes,
servo
for posterity, and also to sneak to the wrathful righteous. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So, what have you guys got on as well? What do you need to? What are you individually looking to try and do?
I had two ideas, but I didn't know how far I was going to go with it. One was possibly looking at seeing if the rifle ratchet, whatever the hell they are, the rifle
The wrathful righteous.
Thank you. I don't know why I kept wanting to say
the guys who hang out on the Archipelago.
Yes, those guys.
The Archipelago,
Yeah.
I think one idea I had was maybe seeing if, now I know this out of character and in character, I don't think Velamris knows a whole lot, but I had considered maybe throwing them at the Space Hulk problem or assisting in some way in that, as far as bodies to go check out corridors and whatever.
Sure.
The other thing I was thinking about considering pursuing was the tunnel snakes have been wiped out, and typically, amongst other things, nature abhors a vacuum. So I would assume there'd be another group trying to step in.
It has been months since that event, just to be very clear.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they were sort of on the similar turf to Kin Hardbottle. I don't know whether Kin Hardbottle are the sort to like,
I mean, Kin Hardbottle aren't actually criminals, though. Just to be very clear.
But can they
And
walk
usually,
along snapping their fingers as they move into turf?
Absolutely.
The Jets and the Sharks, yeah. So I was considering, like, if there was a group that had moved in, criminal or otherwise, it would be worth taking a look to see if they could be used as an asset or if it would be another threat to keep an eye on.
So you want to go looking for infractionist street gangs to recruit?
Well, it wasn't so much if they were criminal. I mean, if they are criminals, they're criminals. It is what it is. But it was more of like, who is trying to fill in that void now?
The void in the criminal underworld. The criminal underworld that has a void.
Sure, it's a
The
void.
poison for Cusco.
There's a void. Somebody's going to fill it. It might be a criminal element. It usually is, but not always.
Okay. All right. Just putting right here that you want to walk on the wild side real quick.
Well, I mean, they're a potential threat to the trading house and us. So, and then the other one, like I said, the wrathful righteous. If it's a possibility, I don't know how much of a possibility it is, but they could be an asset used to quell the Space Hulk concerns in lieu of being shipped off to go and
Have you actually
die boldly.
spoken with Father Firebrand ever?
Only as an accompanying member to a couple of meetings.
And we all went on the first night we went to see their sermon.
The book
Right.
burning.
And everybody shook his hand on the way out.
Yes.
But I think the next time that these two came along to something that I was at, he didn't remember them. That's
Well,
because
Velamris is unremarkable,
Velamris
so.
specifically used his talent to appear as just another face in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm regularly meeting with people of the. I'm regularly meeting with their.
Yes,
their
you're
combatant
training
leaders.
their militia. Yes.
Now that you're the de facto planetary governor, do you walk among the people and just shake hands, kiss babies?
He has
babies
yet
kiss
to
hands.
announce himself to anybody.
Yeah, the incredibly reluctant.
You know what? That's the first scene is
Shaking babies and kissing hands?
everybody walking into the building, right? From your drop off at the garage. There's someone busking outside of the Rogue Traders area, hoping that like the comparably wealthy to the local populace workers here might appreciate culture and also tip him some money. And he's singing a song on his acoustic guitar that's "What if the Imperial Governor was one of us?" And it's about if an imperial governor was made from just a common citizen and walked among them, secretly solving their problems with his vast wealth, authority, and capability, rather than abusing it. Yeah, so he's just singing that as Rassie walks past, and then we get Rassie going into the building, you know, seeing Gropsis walking down the same corridor. His nameplate shows up with, like, played by KainDamael. It's very too many cooks.
Could I have had a chance to buy some common items?
Sure.
Does it come in automatic?
Yeah, it's like a case of can I achieve it? It's a case of
Narratively justifying it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And the only three things that Rassie was thinking about was he got the tutor specifically so he could set this office up in an effective way and figure out what he's supposed to be doing.
Oh, he's following behind you, worm-tonguing you.
Oh, excellent. I need it. I need it desperately.
Yes.
Whispering
Lord
in your ear.
Governor.
He is not welcome here.
They've met your eyes. They should be scraping along the floor, these road trader employees. Is this not an imperial facility? Does not Tol Rock belong to the arm of the Emperor? Tread upon them as your boot treads upon the ground.
The other two things that he'd been thinking about were the potential expedition into the Space Hulk to go find that cool shit. And also, as a curiosity thing, as a guardsman and not a voidsman, we just secured all that ammunition for gunnery training for the Navy. Going and watching a gunnery drill or something just for a new experience.
And that is the one Imperial officer who knows that you are the Imperial Governor, is Commodore
Commodore Dressagius.
Dressagius Equinus, yes. I was trying to remember what the Latin word for horse was, because I knew that was their name.
Equus?
Equus.
Yeah. No, yeah. Rassie, I got you a gift.
So
something, befitting your new station. Yes, it is like mine, a shoulder-mounted ladder, which will announce your entrance and your title. It took a bit of work with the guys downstairs, but I managed to get them to add a feature in where every 10 steps it will puff out a small collection of synthetic rose petals.
What a reference.
So yeah, Sister Holly has recorded her voice announcing planetary governor Rassie von Lucht, make way, etc. You know, the usual sort of, behold his worship. That's it. I made sure it would fit under the hat, like the hat brim won't impinge upon the operational space of the loudhailer either.
The rose petals being shot out the back won't knock the hat off kilter.
Rassie's been trying to get things set up for this, right? He's trying to make sure that he's got some sort of proper attire for when he shows up in that official capacity to honor the office. When he sat down with the tailor, he made it very clear that the top hat will be part of the outfit, so it needs to be built around the top hat.
Velamris, as you enter behind this, you can see that one of the top news stories in this particular asteroid rock is that a local factory is being shut down after centuries of service. It burned down and everyone inside was killed.
Oh no, it's the one we went to.
Yeah, it is. It has to be. I think Velamris, he just kind of...
You mean the Inquisitorial safe house whose cover you blew? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Inquisitor Safe House. I just know we visit.
You go on. You go on.
Yeah, I think that's about how it happens. Is he sees the news or what have you, and hears about the reports or whatever, and he's just like, he makes the mental connection. Yep, that's the one we were at. He doesn't really say anything. So,
You do the Jimmy Clark. Oh no.
Anyway.
anyway, so as I was saying, those rightful ratchet. Jesus Christ, I'm going to get this right one of these days. The wrathful righteous. We should probably do something with them since.
Man, okay. Have you played the Pathfinder game Wrath of the Righteous?
I have not actually.
Okay, well that's where I stole it from. Was from the Pathfinder Adventure Path / video game.
It's a great game.
It is.
DLC is still coming out for it.
I started the first one and didn't make it terribly long before I gave up.
It is both better and worse than the first one.
Oh, that's equal parts heartening and disheartening.
I mean, not sure what you picked up, but I'm the Wrathful Righteous. What is it you want to achieve with them?
Well, it's my understanding, Sister Holly, that there's some, I don't know, 1,000 or so people, if not more. I'm sure I've seen the number and I just can't remember it right now.
I mean, their numbers grow daily.
Correct.
They claimed it was over 1 million, but that is truly ambitious. Hundreds of thousands, surely.
I'm wondering if perhaps there is some way we could utilize them in efforts for that Space Hulk over yonder.
I mean, you have to appreciate that the Wrathful Righteous are a blunt instrument. We can point it at whatever you like, but unless your objective is simply to clear it out and not cover anything from it, because that's going to be the outcome. And the other thing is that...
Go ahead, sorry. No, please, continue.
I mean, that you were on the right path there, that they are certainly
the hammer versus the scalpel.
Yeah. And what's more is that the certain members of the ecclesiarchy have their eye on them, because given the size of the Wrathful Righteous, there is a fear that as they eclipse more and more of the population of the archipelago, any endeavor they enter into will drain from the resources of the station in general. You know, if every man downs tools to go and raid a Space Hulk, suddenly nothing gets produced.
I see your point.
I'm not saying there is an issue with your plan. I wouldn't be doing it if it's just I'm looking for something to do with these guys to keep them distracted, because I am working to keep them distracted. If your objective is to get something out of the Space Hulk, then we probably need to work out what that is before we, decide what we're employing against it.
Well, our Imperial governor here probably has a better idea, but I'm sure a lot of those guard units won't be staying here much longer, and which would diminish the overall numbers of the force here on station.
I want to say this is Aaron Sorkin walk and talk, and you've all entered your normal office now at this point.
Yeah. Sure. We've already gone past Cropsis and everything else.
Yeah.
Wait, you're expecting some kind of drawdown of the guard units posted at the Space Hulk?
I just assumed that perhaps they would be going to places they maybe needed more, but I would never presume to speak for you or know what your thoughts are before you share them.
Well, I'm not sending any of them away. As a matter of fact, I've sent for more.
Oh, well. And perhaps at this point, this entire idea is almost a moot point.
Well, but
sending for a tithe of guard is they're not going to be here this year. You understand that?
Well, it's my understanding as well that hold on, let me see if I get this right. Oh my God, Wrathful Righteous.
You did it.
Yay.
We don't need to pay for that. We don't need to patronize him. You did it. You did good.
I imagine they're going to be here for some time as well. So nothing moves fast, as we all know. Although I did get some paperwork sent off to somewhere pretty quick, but that's a different story for a different time.
I think Rassie just looks back at Lord Conrad Van Erner. Make a note. I need to add an economist to my staff.
Okay. He pulls out a auto quill.
What did you say you were going to add? I missed the word you used there.
An economist.
An economist.
Yeah. That moment you're standing in front of your friend who's an expert in administration, so we need to add an administrator to our staff.
Yep. How large? I've been working with their combatant leaders. That doesn't really tell me much about the size of the Wrathful Righteous. How large are they genuinely as a fighting force, not just their supporters?
So the people who show up to support Father Firebrand directly, like the true believers, the people who use fire directly, torches, axes, whatever they can get their hands on, is less than 1,000. Like, the people who are willing to legitimately risk their lives every single night in order to bring order, less than 1,000. Plenty of people will show up for like a weekend training session once a month, you know, that probably more like 20-30,000 people. But they show up in like their Sunday best dress clothes and do a few jogs around the block while someone yells scripture at them and tells them that they are a damn sinner going to hell unless they seek the Emperor's forgiveness and his infinite grace.
Which they won't get if they don't meet the time standard.
Yeah, of course they won't get if they can't do a 6-minute mile, of course. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I'm talking to two army guys. Yeah.
If you want the Emperor forgiveness, you better run faster, you piece of shit.
The core of people who are experienced, who fight with fire and have armor, let's call it equipment, and like skills and capability, is about 1,000 people, which is still quite large. I mean, to be clear, there are only like 3,000 Imperial Guard troops stationed. But again, these guys have nothing on the level of training and armor and logistics that an Imperial Guard unit would have. They truly are even with some training and with some equipment, they truly are a militia. They have other skills and have chosen instead to pursue a life of faithful murder.
I know you've been spending more time with the leadership, sister. I remember some time ago you were approached by the Arbites about whether or not there was anything problematic happening in the Wrathful Righteous, specifically the leader.
I mean, they are at their core a death cult. That's what, and at least that's what they are. They're morphing into. It is less about the faith that they profess and becoming more about the death they wreak in the name of that faith. So death cults are very powerful tools for the Imperium, for the Ecclesiarchy, for mankind in general, but they're also a very dangerous tool to wield because a lot of collateral gets swept up in their wake. So the Arbites are genuinely concerned that, you know, if this group is set for crusading and nobody sends them on a crusade, that they're going to suddenly find an enemy here among the people and they're going to tear the station apart, which is, given enough time, almost inevitable. Which is why I've been trying to focus their initial hatred and B, find a path for them that leads them out of harm's way, or leads them out of harm to what we're doing's way. So, I mean, with Velamris mentioning the Space Hulk, I don't disagree that the Wrathful Righteous are one of many tools we have in our arsenal that we could throw at that particular problem. But with the Space Hulk, I think we need to work out first what problem we're trying to solve. With the Wrathful Righteous themselves are a problem, but the problem we're trying to solve there is we're trying to give them a focus or a foci that is beneficial to us, to our Lord, to the Imperium in general. And we're trying to make sure that, and before we have that focus ready, that they are corralled.
All right.
Lord Governor, what are your plans for that Space Hulk? Clearly there are things in there, and there's been something of a trade in the things that are brought out. We're on the contact list, in fact.
So this is the problem that I see. I'm sorry to interrupt, but the issue I see with the Space Hulk is that the way we're treating it right away, everyone's treating it is a treasury of unknown resources that are dangerous to obtain. So people range into the Space Hulk, they kill a few Xenos, they liberate a few artifacts, and they bring them out and they try to ascertain their wealth. Nobody is going in there looking for something in specific. Nobody is trying to find the source of the Xenos and wipe it out. I think there's actually probably an avenue we haven't explored, which is researching some of the ships that we believe are in the mass of the Hulk and determining, do the stories say that there is there an artifact in specific we should be looking at? Is there a focal point as to where these aliens may be coming from? We need objectives rather than just walk in, kill stuff, hope that we find something good, bring it out again if we survive.
Killing Xenos is not a bad objective, I would think.
No, but I mean, it's like if there's something in there which is just spawning aliens and all you're doing is killing them as they spawn, you're not solving the actual problem.
Farming XP. Sorry.
Conrad von Erner looks distasteful at Velamris, as if he smelled something from a sewer.
I think you have a point, Sister Holly, in that clearly defined objectives is the way to move forward, and some research is the way to get it. I could start looking at digging up some of the histories of the various portions of the Space Hulk, see what I can find out, see what might cross-reference to other things. At the end of the day, I think it would still take the Imperial Governor to free up some assets in order to expunge any of those items that may be found or other identified potential threats.
Rassie, I know that...
Conrad leans in next to Rassie and goes, "Excuse me, my lord. I'm afraid it's time for your next appointment." He gestures towards two men who come in bearing YouTube ads, and he says, "It's time for the 5-minute ad break, my lord."
The AP is merging the fourth wall here.
Yeah.
I will think about your words, but I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Amazing.
He
right, we're out.
goes to his ad appointment.
That was well played, Kain.
I
Give me 5
appreciate you
minutes to
getting
reconsider
involved in
that.
that joke.
Yeah.
All right,
James
Alexa,
is like, if there's a thing back there just spawning aliens, you're not really dealing with the problem. You're just farming XP.
It's all good points. It's one of those things. It's like our awareness of the operation of the Space Hulk and the existence of the station is to get loot is to support the operation to loot stuff from the Space Hulk while it's still there.
I think the biggest difference is Velamris is like, let's go explore and do whatever. And Holly's just like, yes, but maybe if we had a more pointed goal to get in there. And I'm just like, meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, I brought this whole Space Hulk thing up because a couple of times AP's tried to lead us into it.
So the two men begin hauling away the giant advertising wall scrolls. It's like a flip book. They've just been going through it and showing you different products.
Products customized the viewer's experience.
Yeah.
Is one of them SEO squared?
One of them is for a company called SEO Optimization. Still your guys' show. You're in charge.
Yeah.
So as they're carrying those off, Rassie comes back over to the group. I could. What if you were to investigate the ships that have already been entered? What would you need?
I'm assuming you're asking Velamris.
Yeah.
Definitely identified names of the ships. Any other relevant information? Perhaps a log of, I'll dare say, a log of recent activity, if not all activity that has been conducted, anything that's been pulled out, Xenos that have been encountered. The more information, the better, because then I could start data delving and putting together maybe a nifty PowerPoint, or God forbid, God Emperor forbid, a spreadsheet.
No, I can get you. I can get you with Major Rain's staff to look at intel reports, information they put together, after action reports that you might be able to go through. As long as it wouldn't be overly disruptive, I could probably get you some interviews with some of the scout elements to try to put together some information.
Anything within the intelligence and operations staffs would be greatly helpful. And obviously, as you mentioned, the firsthand accounts from individuals that have been in there would be helpful. So please, if you could, it'll probably take me a few days to start compiling everything once I get the information.
I mean, if even with this information, how are you going to use it to put together what these ships are?
Well, a lot of the answer to that question will be based on what information I am able to collect, but it will be a matter of then cross-referencing it with anything that the administratum might have as far as shipping records, shipping manifests, travel logs, historical documentation. It could be actually a very lengthy search to get even a handful of bits of relevant, useful data.
I mean, imagine that we find a story that one of the vessels that's inside the Space Hulk was a ecclesiastical vessel that just disappeared a century ago while transporting a relic to a shrine.
Millennia ago.
Suddenly we know, okay, there is value in trying to recover that relic, for example. You know, we won't know until we look at the records and see what the ship names and identities tell us about.
I would argue that perhaps the guard agencies, we'll say, that are currently employed are getting the ground eye view, but we need some way to cross-reference everything at a much higher level of view to be able to piece all this together to find specific points of interest within the Space Hulk. Otherwise, until then, it's going to be, as was mentioned earlier, a fit of throwing hammers until things come out.
If you would like to, you can make a check now to gather such intelligence reports to be perused when you are ready for it. A report into the history of the vessels and where they think the likely origins of them are.
So just like a generic, so you want to know more about this kind of thing? Yeah. Well, let's see what the 40K Google says.
Depending on what you find, either the sister could maybe get you some information through local ecclesiarchy, and also depending on what you find, I'm able to help you piece some things together through core staff.
Okay. I mean, there's also the option to take a vessel and do a fly around the outside of the Hulk and try the Hulk and see the outside, which is unfortunately someone thinks of the Hulk. And
I do want to remind you that the vessel, you guaranteed you know that orcs, greenskins operate, and not just operate on the vessel, they operate in the near space around it. Rassie has personal knowledge of this. They have more or less functional airspace around part of it, so you would not want to take an unarmed shuttle, for instance. It will almost certainly be a battle. You also know from Kari's notes that there is a contingent, or at least was a contingent, of Kari on board that we're trading with him.
Information is something like 6 months to a year old, correct?
Sure, Kari have
Doesn't
long lives, though.
Well, no, I was just pointing out a reference point of time. Maybe I mean much. They're probably still there.
Information about Hulk based on ordering there. You can do with checks. Each one will give you information, logic annotation, lore adeptus hera, or lore theology. And lore theology specifically requires you to have it in order to make that roll.
I don't have lore theology. It'll have to be the lore, Terra, or logic, whichever, and both the same score. So logic investigation, because I feel like that's the general direction where I'm at right now. Is more investigatory. I think the lore, I think the lore will come based on what information is out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you want to count my thought process.
Yeah.
Can I,
I can assist you whenever you want. So.
okay, I'm going to use one of the points to get advantage.
Being assistant gives you advantage.
Oh, well, never mind. Hold on. I'm going to take for the reroll. Actually, I probably would have still had it. Challenging, or are you going to change the difficulty on me, AP?
I'm going to leave it and have gradated success.
Okay.
No,
Right,
so are the Drakari long-lived, or are they a sickly, pale, malnourished race that die young because of their perverse abnormality? That feels like what the Imperium would teach.
I wasn't talking to the characters. I was talking to the players.
Either way, they're foul Xenos. That's all we know. All right, yeah, roll in logic. +3.
You know that a lot of the ships are old. They're so old that many of them do not appear in Imperial records. At least one ship belongs to some sort of long-lost human organization, probably some fringe outer group called the Saturnine Fleet that has been encountered. There's a ship from the Saturnine Ordo. Any knowledge of what that is has been lost, so there's a lot of talk on the station that it's probably some group that, was out in some distant remote part of space after the technology and, fall. They disappeared. This ship ended up being part of the space hull, but the true origin of the ship has been lost. There are no transports, but also an equal number of alien vessels, including a large number of Drakari vessels that are on the far side of Hulk. So the asteroids that you ride on are not perfectly in time with the rotation of the space Hulk, but they are nearly tidally locked in a way that takes hundreds of years to get to the other side. Definitely, based on the rumors you've got here, Drakari is still extremely active. They are searching their own ships for something. The Greenskins appear from the space Hulk, just to be clear. They came from the space Hulk and attacked these asteroid colonies, and we're focused on the Imperial Guard station here to sort of keep them on the Hulk. And there are rumors of a single lone demigod murderer who wanders the Hulk, killing anything that he finds. And I think Holly probably knows what a Chaos Space Marine is, and maybe Rassie, probably Velamris does not know what Chaos Space Marine is. It sounds like some sort of Chaos Space Marine should ride on this boy and can't get off it, and is just brutally interacting with sort of Cornish murder rituals.
Murdering Debbie sounds all right.
Yeah. I mean, for the guardsmen who encounter him, he's a Space Marine, probably, right?
An angry, pissed off killing Space Marine. It doesn't seem to play by the Imperial rules.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say old and old, like no human records exist that are, is that, are we talking like before the Imperium?
Yeah.
Or heresy?
Before the records you have access to.
Okay. So arguably, at least before
Dark
the
Age of
heresy.
Technology, 32nd millennium at the very least.
Okay. I'll check the information obviously.
Now, I'm basically certain James knows what the Saturnine Ordo is, but
I've heard the name once in my own digging of.
It's heresy era. So yeah.
It's what?
It's heresy era, or Horus heresy era. 30K. So based on that information, I mean, potentially, if you were looking to send guys into the Hulk, then you'd try and access terminals to pull data. If these are so old, if they instantly functional, kind of try and pull when data can be pulled from the ship's cogitators that we can learn from. But the problem is we don't really have a contingent of tech adepts on the station to help with that, and I don't think the average guardsman is trained in repairing a cogitator cell.
No.
And the only Adeptus Mechanicus assets in the Archipelago, or whatever, you know what the hell I'm trying to say.
The only admech that we have here very well could be not exactly friendly to anything that we're trying to do.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, they did get themselves kicked off of the Delta asteroid, at least.
No, but the fleet is going to have engine seers.
That's a fair point.
I don't want to pull those from the fleet unless it's absolutely necessary. But if we do need,
What if we
I can acquire them.
asked for volunteers, maybe of a couple individuals from each of the fleet's ships?
now let me be clear. The Mechanicus have been banned by the local citizens from being on the asteroids. That does not affect anything going on the Space Hulk. The Space Hulk is under the sole jurisdiction of the Imperial Guard.
I think I said something like that without using anything close to those words. I think that's what I'm trying to drive.
There's nothing banning the attacks from landing on the Space Hulk, just to be clear.
Okay.
At the time of the vacuum tube in here, you hear a swooping noise. Inside are 4 copies of a notice about a new relationship policy that's being handed down by the Rogue Trader Chamberlain Bleeding Fungus. in regards to an epidemic within this facility of work proposals and work proposals of people cheating on their significant others while at work and having relationships in break rooms, that it will stop immediately. It's no longer acceptable policy, and it officially is not allowed at the facility.
And it's one of those forms that we have to sign
And send back, yes. Yeah, initial date,
Yeah, exactly.
update to your employee handbook.
Yeah. One copy gets turned in, one held for our own personal purview and whatnot. Yep. So yeah, I think as Velamris is seeing through this work stuff and scribbling on it and whatnot, he's going to make the point: what if we asked for a couple volunteers, strictly volunteers, so as to not burn any possible bridges? I mean, you are the Imperial Governor. Yes, you can grab them at a a moment's notice, but
Rassie just starts chuckling and says, "In the Guard, volunteer is a very different definition than I think you think it does."
Well, they're not guard; they're fleet. And Velamris is oblivious to that fine distinction that I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I can give requirements, and they will be filled by volunteers.
Okay. Well, let's do that then. And Velamris continues to be completely oblivious to what you just said.
But I don't think we're ready to put that fleet resource in danger for this.
Well, it's what the guard is for, isn't it?
It is.
It's in their name, guard. I don't know if that was me being a smartass or if that was Velamris. I'm sorry.
That was you, for sure. They're the National Guard. They guard the nation, don't they?
It's your call, Lord Governor. You are the, Lord Governor.
When you say that, Conrad von Erner clears his throat and kind of stands on his toes a little bit to lift his heels up just to seem a little taller than Velamris and glower down at you. Clears his throat.
My lord.
Familiarity breeds contempt, Mr. Quineel.
Of that, we can agree, my lord. And I'm sure everybody here has plenty of contempt for me.
He nods and goes back to taking notes using his auto-quill.
And Velamris defuses the situation.
If that's how you want to see it, sure.
That's how he sees it. Listen, he might be dead 20 minutes later. Who knows?
Well, in the meantime, will I put together a plan for this? I think I would like to, Sister Holly, I don't know what your schedule is to speak with, what your schedule in regards to keeping the Wrathful Righteous occupied, or any meetings you have set up with the local ecclesiarchy. But I do plan to set up a time for us to witness firing drills on one of the void ships. I think it's an experience I haven't had before, and I don't know if you have, but I'd certainly like to invite you.
I mean, I'm not usually interested in these sorts of displays of military might. I already know the superiority of Imperial firepower without needing to be shown it. Please, if you organize it, let me know the time and place, and if I have not got other engagements, I'll certainly come along to represent the Rogue Traders' interests. But don't plan around my availability, because it's I don't think I will learn anything I don't already know, and impressive displays of firepower are not really my thing.
But it's impressive Imperial firepower, Sister Holly. It's always impressive. I just go back to my paperwork.
One of the problems, or one of the things about faith, Velamris, is that you don't need to see proof to have faith. I have faith that our weapons will destroy any enemy that comes before them. I don't need to see proof of that. And in fact, what I could potentially see is, due to human error, a failure to employ the God Emperor's gifts in a way that benefits their use. And if that were to happen, A, it could shake the faith of those present, and B, it would require significant punitive responses to be taken to ensure that such things never happen again. And I'm happy simply to rest on the laurels of my faith and know that the weapons that the name have access to now are the nemesis of our foes.
Conrad tears off a little sheet of paper and slips it to Rassie as subtly as possible.
Rassie does like palms the paper and then just like puts it against his belly and folds it out and looks down and just sort of like thinks he's being subtle.
He's reading the text message in the middle of the business meeting.
Yeah, basically.
It says the newly acceptable term politically correctly is not punitive but corrective action.
I'm sure that avoiding creating a need for unnecessary corrective actions is wise.
I just like the booms. Oh, look, more paperwork.
As I said, I appreciate the invitation, and if my presence there will add something to the event in terms of credibility for the event itself or for the rogue trader, then by all means I will attend. But I'm simply saying, don't invite me because you think that it's something that I might like.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind, sister.
Holly, I would like a check from you.
Okay.
I would like a intuition human check.
Intuition people, do you mean?
It says human in my book, but I might be using the old one again.
Intuition people?
Sure, let's do that.
Is it regarding any particular group? Just because so I know if there's an influence benefit from my influence.
This will not be a group that you have influence with.
Yeah. Can you make an assumption?
I guarantee.
Maybe a presumption. Yes, that's three.
As the three of you are wrapping up your discussion looked over by Conrad, you're kind of like flipping through some of the updates that are coming through the vacuum tube system. Just things like handbook updates, corporate charts. You're really big on getting people ready, and part involves the attractiveness level of people. And as you're looking over some of the like updated photographs of company officers, there is something about Drapelian the Chamberlain, who is in effect the executive officer of this company. Like when the rogue trader's here, he runs it personally, but given that he spends so much time away, Drapelian is in effect the CEO of this company. And in the time you've known him, his face and body type has subtly changed in a way that cannot be accounted for, like losing weight or like trying a new hairstyle or something. And now that you're looking at this picture, comparing it to the one you had months ago when you first arrived, you basically guaranteed that like this guy now essentially looks like a person with a different bone structure.
Is there anything medically that could have caused that?
I mean, rejuvenate treatments allow for the idea that certainly he could have done corrective surgery of some kind.
40K Universe, crushed skull.
Yeah, so the strange it stands out to you. The other thing that stands out to you is that there are people who've been working with him for years who have not said anything about this. Like, this is just treated as normal here in this company. No seem surprised that he's been slowly changing.
Um,
I'll also point out, he lives exclusively outside of the Imperial colony on the Rogue Trader's mission. You've never seen him anywhere in the actual company. I still have that weird creepy thing going on in the background for you while everybody else talks about booms.
what is he?
He is convalescing after having delivered your PPS reports.
Right. This is something that could I get a copy of this picture that I've noticed?
Sure, you can get a picture capture of it.
Yeah. And then but then on my back in my cell, I might go back to my original stuff I had, and I'll spend some and just think about, like, given the changes, given the time frame, is this reasonably rejuvenate, or is this potentially something else? Is it like, surgery? Can I see surgical scars? Is there any indication of that sort of thing going on? So I'll probably just spend some time to study the differences. I'll do one of those classic newspaper, circle the differences between these two pictures. Find at least
Corporate
7.
has asked you to find the difference.
They're the same picture.
I would, as a follow-up to that, is there a forbidden lore xenology? I feel like there must be, but I can't find one.
I mean, I don't have
forbidden lore restricted. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have forbidden lore there. So.
Okay. Then you know that something's wrong. This is not rejuvenate, but you don't know exactly what it is that is wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry, I think it's lore and then forbidden is guilty.
Yeah, you have the forbidden knowledge trait to access forbidden.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about taking, you said no.
There is something strange about this that perks your ecclesiarchical training. Now, it shouldn't be a surprise that Rogue Trader would employ something unusual, but you just don't know what that unusual thing is.
Yeah, nor is it illegal, provided for the benefit of the Imperium, which clearly Gropsis is.
Again, he doesn't work here in employment contract sense. He just makes everyone feel comfortable, and he's the opposite of Rassie.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Clearly his work is for the benefit of the Imperium, so he can't be sanctioned.
So like a rat, he's made his way in, and somehow he was deemed cute enough to let live. Now he just never leaves.
Yeah.
He's cunning. He's half orc. He's cunning, but not brutal.
Other half also. He's actually just in working disguise as a tiny rat man.
Yeah, that's right. He's painted himself like a rat using purple paint, so definitely he now looks like. No, is it purple? No, which one's
Purple.
Purple's the one, the stealth ones. Yeah.
That's right.
Commissar Kain, while the invisible orcs were chasing you towards the cliff edge with their purple. That's how I remember that purple's the invisible one. Is sort of Commissar Kain means. All right, Velamris, Rassie, Holly leaves for the day after doing about 10 minutes of work.
Hold on. This is getting too realistic, Arthur.
No, we're still missing you grabbing one of our lunches.
Oh no, please. I mean, let's be very real though. You guys actually have completed your work, and you only have like daily check-in stuff to complete. And the person who checks that stuff is in the hospital, so you've done your contractually obligated work, right? Like
it's a mandatory morning stand-up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And we were standing the whole time.
What a nightmare! It comes back. Look, guys, we're gonna need to sunset the morning stand-up. It's no longer part of corporate culture, like the work husband work relationship policy.
All right, I would like to put into action getting whatever passes as nice accommodations here.
Okay.
And I'd also like to put together an administratum staff.
You have money, right? Like you can pay for the increased accommodations.
I've got 3,600 solars.
Okay, so you can buy several days worth of that and figure things out as you go. Look for better accommodations, and what you end up getting is you get the full package. You get the penthouse of a one of the very few hotels for tourists who come here, but really it's mostly for visiting scholars and specialists who have shown up on the colony for small work transits, right? They can't do it remotely through psychic communications, but they're not going to spend the rest of their lives in the ass end of the galaxy sort of deal. They need a place to stay. You get the entire top floor with a concierge down at the front desk to contact you for anything you need. You need to reserve tickets, or you need to get a ride to your place of business or work. They'll handle it all within this domicile for you. You also have a maidservant and a personal butler to butler your room.
Okay.
Lord Von Erner gets a series of chambers on the floor beneath you.
Okay. I would like to, at least for some time, get an administratum stuff to go through that pile of requests that we have dodged.
Are you going to the administratum and revealing yourself as the authority of the planetary governor?
Yeah.
Are you using a new loud hailer?
You should. You really should.
I think for this, because he is, I think he is for this.
Do you want Velamris to go with you?
I am bringing Velamris with me.
Okay.
Now,
Velamris,
I'm
you
going
said
to ask a question if I can, real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, AP, I don't kind of talk over you. In Velamris coming with you as your admin, assistant, guru, whatever, he's going, before you guys leave, he will want to know, Imperial Governor, should I bring my rifle and assume some sort of bodyguard role?
Well, you should bring your rifle, but also keep in mind, this is an official trip in an official capacity.
In front of lots of people, with you proclaiming that you are now the Lord Governor, and perhaps
informing them of the information they haven't had yet, which means that you will treat me accordingly on this official capacity.
Absolutely. My mouth will be shut.
Okay.
Because that's the safest way to go. We can all agree on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, yes, we can.
So I think what Velamris is asking is he's kind of like, he wants to be, at least temporarily, your arch militant, if you will. Because it'll make him feel special. So you get shot for it.
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly take a bullet that may or may not have even killed Rassie in the first place. It does seem like the proper thing to do anyways.
Yeah.
But he also, just to make it clear, I'm going there to get a couple administratum tasked on filtering and organizing those requests that you told me were waiting there for a planetary governor.
Yes.
I can't just look at this whole stack and go through one at a time and try to figure out what needs to happen for the station myself. I would never do anything else.
Correct. I just want to be clear that my intent here is to, one, assist you with the administrative side of that, but also the moment you announce that you are the governor, there's always the possibility that somebody is there to take you out.
I already said yes, bring the rifle.
I hear you, and I agree with you. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page in that regard. Somebody needs to be looking out for the Imperial Governor's personal security. I may not be your best choice, but I am the one here now.
Yeah. Well, let's go do this thing. And I do make a point. I'm not rocking the shotgun.
No, that's what Velamris is for. You do the governor thing. Velamris does the stand there staring at people menacingly.
I've got I'll have my stub revolver and my las carbine.
Sure. I'll have at least one of my two pistols, auto pistols, and my sniper rifle, even though it's far better for long distance shooting than anything close up.
We'll head to the local administratum.
Normally,
like we're gonna rob the place.
Loud hailer that shits rose petals.
And we're gonna act like this is completely normal.
I don't know the reference, but this is so silly. I have to do it.
It's Pendragon, isn't it?
it's Pendragon, yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a fake Grand Order reference.
Yeah, I mean, look. There's like the whole. It's something important. Walking on a bed of rose petals is like a literary
Roman
thing from yeah.
Okay.
Emperors had people throw rose petals behind them, sort of deal. Normally, it would take about 2 hours to get to the machine that would tell you where to go to speak to an administratum representative. You know what I mean? Like, there's a line to get in a line. Velamris helps you skip that. And after a short walk, it's clear to Rassie, Velamris, and Lord von Erner that people here are treating Velamris with hostility and disrespect. This has nothing to do with Rassie being here yet, being declared. They just are actively and openly hostile to you when you enter in a way that you haven't seen yet.
And out of character, I'm imagining it's because they more or less paid them.
Yeah, because you snitched.
Yeah.
You're snitching. You snitched on administrative officials, yeah?
Well, they were dirty, but I digress.
Okay. Well, they don't know that yet. What they know is that you turned somebody in and you got yourself a little career advancement now. And you're walking around with a rifle, hanging out with some fancy dressed man, flaunting yourself in his office working for a rogue trader. Look at this guy. He'll kill any of us to advance over our dead bodies. You are brought through a series of officials. It takes about 20 minutes Many of the places I've described so far are extremely functional on the show. There has been no artifice. Even the conference room where we had the meeting with the ecclesiarchal officials was for an administrative purpose and had no pomp, no circumstance. You are ushered into a chamber that is 2 levels of this asteroid tall. Like, the ceiling has punctured through another level. It echoes. It's cavernous. You can barely see the top. Floating little skulls go in every which direction. There's cherubs. There's servers everywhere. People are running around. People are shuffling around with paperwork, wearing the robes of the administratum, and down a series of massive steps, like 15, 20 feet to the next step down, with a beautiful lush red carpet with gold trim on it. You are announced by your loudhailer. You're announced by administratum officials. So like an administratum official who's like a regular desk clerk announces you to somebody who then announces you to Halos. Then it goes up 6 levels until an order introduces you to Adeptus Administratum Master Silex Garou, who is a man seated on a podium that stands 30 feet above you. He's wearing one of those British judges' wigs. Very jolly man. He has like a third arm, which is auto-quilling everything that's happening at all times. Like it's always scribing and transcribing everything that happens around him. While he is adjusting his glasses, and goes, "Oh my, it would appear that an Imperial Governor has been named. Rassie van Lucht. You do not show up in any of our files of this particular colony. My apology, Imperial Commander. You were not informed you would be arriving. Are you here to perform the ceremony of the transfer of command for this facility, inaugurating it for the first time?"
I think at this point, like Rassie has fully encouraged Lord Conrad von Erner to
He leans
full
down next to
whisper
you.
anything he wants to.
He leans down next to you and says, "My lord, it is a 12-hour-long ceremony. One that can wait until you are appropriately attired."
I have other matters that I must attend to, but there will be a time for that.
Very well. He stands up, and as he does, this is like kingpin level size. Like, he was seated and he's way up above you. This guy's like 7 feet tall and weighs like 400 pounds. And he moves around the podium and spends a full minute descending the pulpit down to the level before you, before folding his body down to get on one knee before you, and says, "I greet you on behalf of the Adeptus Administratum. In the name of Master Silex Garou, I am at your command, Imperial Governor."
I appreciate being well received. I understand that there are a number of requests that have been waiting for an arrival or appointment such as this.
We have been cataloging requests from every colonial outpost here, every department, for over 100 years. Would you like them alphabetically, chronologically, or in order of urgency?
Urgency will do.
Very well. Begin the ceremony of urgency.
Which
You
will
hear
take
like
some
a
hours.
gong hit, and like in a line, like a Congo line, truly 300 officials begin entering the room and depositing paperwork around you, building a fort of paper. You guys are being entombed in a house made of paperwork.
I'm going to lean over and my Lord Governor, perhaps acquiring the staff first would have been more helpful.
As you can see here, my lord, the piece of paper in each pile of the 7,000 that we have here is an urgent request from almost 30 years ago, requesting backup forces for the Imperial Guard due to the appearance of a Drakari invasion fleet. We consider the threat of a Drakari raid on this colony, which has not happened in the last 30 years. We still consider it to be of the utmost urgency, as with their foul technology, it could happen at any time and any place.
I require an administrator. One of it's like obviously Valemris standing right there, and he's talking as if he's making impression that he's talking about like I need a good administrator. We're ignoring this guy. Like he's to review these urgent requests and provide me a briefing.
I understand, my lord. You would require, at the very least, someone of your unique status to be informed by an ordinate at the very least. I have no spare ordinates at this time. I have few scribes that I can retask as part of our mission. Perhaps there is some ancillary member of our organization who is far from home, a sort of visiting guest, currently without any job, having executed his previous employer and boss, and now has no task at hand. Such an individual, if procured and promoted to a level, would that be an acceptable administrator for you, my lord?
Would that individual be capable of the work that I require in this matter, in your expertly informed opinion?
There is someone in mind who fits Aramis as a sort of free agent, unusual in our organization. I am not, at this time, acquired of his employee personnel file and Scholar Progenium record, but I could have him tested severely myself. Now.
Given the importance of this task, perhaps a test is warranted.
He has been kneeling the whole time, even as if they're bricks. More paperwork has been piled up around you to build walls. This man stands to his full height and says, "Menial Velamris Quineel, you will attend to me now, and we will test your knowledge if you are truly fit to be promoted 2 ranks to becoming a scribe."
I think he just needs to 0.124. Simply not.
Moves on flat ground by like shifting his body left and right forward. And
Yeah, he's one of those
basically
guys from the Imperium Maledictum. I can't remember the name. The ones that you shouldn't listen
the
to.
Vogons.
Yes, those guys. That's all I do the whole time.
As he moves forward, you assume that you're going to fall into wherever he's going to be tested at. Leaving Rassie and Conrad to on your paperwork. And he says,
Tell me, menial Quineel, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Actually, I have heard some of this tale, but I will have to wait 5 minutes to do that.
I wasn't going to go to break, but I feel like you're forcing me.
No, you don't.
It's not really, but I can't.
You have to say that. Like, that's really the only spot for right now.
You gotta respect. And you control of one good episode. We'll back up on the fast part.
I really felt like that was the best way to answer that
That's a
question.
good answer. I wish I had thought of it.
This is fun. It's like Velamris is like, oh, fuck you, now I'm gonna do this test thing because you're an asshole. But Rassie sees this as like, oh, maybe you can prove yourself to these people that, hey, before I give you the unfortunate task of reading all of these urgent requests.
I'm allowed to put in my notes that one of the next things that Norman does in his free time, whatever, is draft some sort of official documentation as to why he's in the position that he's in now, to like clear his name. Some sort of like, so what had really happened was Barnum and Holliver was a fucking scumbag, etc., etc. And I will now show you in the next 13 pages how that came to be and how it was rectified.
I have assembled a 75-slide PowerPoint to explain how I got from there to here.
Exactly. All right, guys, I'll be right back too.
Me too.
Hey, AP.
Yes.
I love how you just did that nonchalant mic boom swing. Can you double check your settings, because our stream is delayed by several minutes, it seems like. Also, there was no sound.
There was no sound.
Correct. I had the volume all the way up on my phone, and there was nothing coming through.
I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, AP.
Yes.
I love how you just tried to check earlier, but it didn't really occur to me until I noticed that it seemed like we were lagging. Like this last break, you still haven't a break yet. Check your settings.
I guess we are back.
There are OBS problems on OBS problems right now. I don't really know what's happening, friends at home, but what I have to say is I'd like to force James to do his part now, but I realize that Rassie is somewhere else. My assumption is that James is carefully hoarding his fate points
So
You used the wall to
I'm not
burst at the
really.
last second.
I'm not doing the big conclave. I need to meet with
Layla. Okay.
Lila
Lila.
first as well. So
Okay.
I mean, we could. I mean, the sister's not with us for any of that stuff. We could hop over to that, and we know that Velamris is being tested.
No, I'm gonna brutalize Velamris real quick.
Okay,
The gum
I'm good with
Jabbar?
this.
Let it be the gum Jabbar. I won't put my hand in the box.
It's not. Your hand isn't being put in a box. Your ability and knowledge of paperwork and bureaucracy is being tested.
Okay.
But also something that you've never had to use before is being tested.
Is it a typewriter?
No, your ability to make relationships with other officials in the administratum and use them to help you finish your paperwork.
Mm.
You are now being tested on the sacred art of delegation.
Well, delegation and networking, yes. And
Yeah.
this is a critical flaw because you don't know anybody in this office.
It's a critical flaw because I have a 26 fellowship.
Well, the first thing I would like to test you for is discipline, and if you have it, you can take specialization components roll.
I don't, but I do have fate points, so I'll be rolling with advantage.
Okay, good luck.
Difficulty is challenging.
It's challenging. That's a critical, I believe. Impressive success. Oh, it's not a critical, but he rolled a 4 for the folks at home. Not critical. Impressive success. You have never been tested like this before. Most of your life, you've been abused doing your jobs. Whatever the worst thing possible that they could put across your desk that they couldn't ask a servitor to do has been done by you. And indeed, most of the stuff that comes across your desk is also stuff that would intentionally fail or flunk another person, and they push it off on you so that it's on your record and not them. You've intentionally sabotaged your whole life. You've never been tested like this before, with someone actively hanging over your shoulder with the power to not only put you, but destroy you. This man operates in spheres so much higher than you, the answer is to evaluate the Imperial governor. And you aren't even sweating it, Velamris. It means nothing to you. You've been waiting for this test your whole life. You like to push yourself and prove that you're more than just the ability to do paperwork. And as this gets started,
My
you're
songs.
vibing, bro. You're vibing. You might have been concerned, tense, that like you would be able to get loosey-goosey. You're there, man. You're fully stretched and ready to get started with this. So the next check is Fortitude with Endurance as a specialization, if you got it.
I not. Can I argue with my Vide? I can get the difficulty reach 1 step.
You know what? I'll accept that argument. On the agreement that you don't use that same bullshit on a future roll.
Okay.
No bank, like you could bank it for something else, but you're spending now.
Yeah. So that changes it to routine, which is plus 20.
Okay.
I'll use another fate point for this one as well. Ooh.
68 is a failure.
You could spend another one to at least be at a +0.
That's true. That would be a success.
Yeah. Wow. Did we just?
You just use all your fate points immediately, like we usually do.
Yeah. I bet that third fate point here to make that failure a 0. So yeah, we'll make that a 0. I will skim by. I have to rely purely on Nuffle or whatever.
I now need you to make a rapport roll with Haggle. If you have that specialization,
I
that
do
is a
not.
fellowship roll.
I do not.
Okay.
Let me see if I can come up with some other crazy argument here.
No.
Can't blame a guy for trying. Oh wow, a horrific failure.
Okay.
87 on a 26.
Yeah, there's nothing like watching Velamris make face rolls to make me appreciate how much XP I've put into Rassie's face.
Finally, logic. You are going to be doing this at a difficulty of an additional 20 based on failing one of your 3 checks.
So minus 1. I'm out of fate points. Oof.
That
Oh,
is
wow,
the
holy
worst
shit.
possible roll you could get.
Oh my god, yeah.
So
100.
you go into this, you're confident, you're ready, you're loose. He has you doing paperwork for hours. But when he starts sending you out there to start talking to your peers, you get destroyed, absolutely slaughtered. People turn their physically away from you and do not acknowledge your presence. You start falling behind on your work. The master stands behind you and is just like, 27 seconds behind projected finishing of this particular goal. What do you have to say for yourself, Velamris Quineel? As he's like breathing over your shoulder, looming massively. And you can hear a timer ticking behind you. As even as he's saying this, your failure is compounding as you are rushing from job to job. This is intense work you've never done before, and you've never failed a task harder than this. You just give up at some point, and the master stands over you and says, in my years of service to the administratum, I have never seen someone fail this test as bad as you have. You are not prepared to rise to the rank of scribe.
what is his rating drop to now?
Ooh, that's good. Wait, 1, 2,
Well, that
3.
rating was made up by Barnum and Hopwood. That's not an official. That was a personal thing he made for his own office.
I think Velamris takes a moment to kind of take stock.
Are you crying?
No. But perhaps this isn't the best place for me after all. despite my best efforts, this is what I'm capable of. Perhaps servicing God Emperor in another way is where I should be.
That is not in your control.
It is not.
You
I
don't get to
make no
choose
argument
such
there.
things. And you are under my purview now. With your previous boss, Ordinate Barnum and Hovler, eliminated, I am co-opting and drafting you into local service. It is
I
clear
don't think that's something you can do.
Who's going to stop me?
Ooh, do I have my guns on me? Because, man, he's really tempted right now.
Are you? Just to be clear, you are inside the stronghold of his power.
Yeah, I know. I know. Like,
You
that
don't
initial
work.
reaction.
Let's just be really clear. You don't work for anyone right now. Your old job is over. Your old boss is dead. You are an administratum scribe. Well, you're not a scribe. You're a menial. This guy drafting you is not that strange. You know,
No, but the argument too is that I work for the trading house.
You don't work for the trading house, though. Your job was to infiltrate the trading house. You understand that, right? Like, you eliminated your own job by killing your boss. He sent you undercover to get dirt on them. That's gone now. You don't have that excuse to keep working there. This guy can absolutely draft you. If you want to draw down on him in his own fortress, please be my guest. Go ahead. He is not visibly armed.
No, as tempting as it is, and I think this is some of the thought process that's running through Velamris' head is like, it's really tempting just to shoot this guy in the face. And
This guy gave you a shot that he did not have to give you to be the body man for the Imperial Governor, and you failed utterly, like disastrously. Let's just be really clear. He has given you more than enough rope, and you have hung yourself with it.
Yes. And I think what he'll eventually comes to the conclusion is that, yes, the hell is his name?
Silas Garreau. Master Silas Garreau.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him that. Master Garreau or something like that. You absolutely probably could draft me with next to no questions asked on a good day. Let me throw this one to you. You've seen my work here. This is not work that even a low person could be proud of, which would make you indirectly, at the end of some rope, culpable. Not look good for you either. Perhaps leaving me in the rogue trading house is a better option. Not even working for the Imperial Governor, because why sully him? Put me back, allow me to stay with the Darkwind trading house, et cetera, et cetera. That's his argument. My brain is trying to go in like 6 different directions now.
I suck so bad. You should shuffle me somewhere where I'm not.
That's effectively what he's saying.
So I'm going to tell you the stakes of the roll right now. This is a haggle roll. The difficulty is improved by 1 step. If you fail, he threatening your boss who stands so many ranks above you, you shouldn't even be in the same room as him. And now you're threatening him and also saying you're so bad at your job, you should be sent somewhere else. Let me be very clear. If you fail this roll, he's going to have you sent to become a servitor.
Yeah. Now, I want to be clear. He's not threatening him.
From your influence. Don't forget +1 SL from your influence, by the way.
He's going to need it.
He's not trying to lay out the best that he sees it.
Well, you may not be trying to him, but what you said is absolutely
listen, we see his fellowship score. It's very easy to misunderstand what he's saying. What did you say? Okay. So +20, +1 SL because of what you call it, which I probably should have been using all along.
That's actually that's a good point. If he was supposed to be getting that +1 SL for dealing with the administratum the whole time, would he not need to spend a fate point to bump that and be able to 0? Should have had that 1 SL.
For a fortitude test? No.
Had to try.
It wasn't a test of his interacting with personnel members.
That was me to keep my cool.
I had to try. Listen, I can appreciate people doing a reach, trying to negotiate, but I'm well known among the administratum. That makes me physically more able to do paperwork. No. Absolutely not.
When your character becomes a servitor,
what the fuck? No shot. No shot.
That was a +5 success.
No, I don't believe that. thought I had him.
amazing.
I thought I had him, audience. I fucking him. I nailed him to the wall.
Take one AP.
He just OD'd his way out of the shit. Man, roll 6.
400. So I'm a fucking 100, by the way.
Well, I have to be honest with you. A 6 is as likely after 100 as it is after another 6.
I suppose.
Okay. You make the case that you are so useless you should be traded to the Rogue Trader House. He goes, no, this is a stupid idea. Absolutely not. Under no circumstances will I allow it. However, it would appear that you find yourself in unusual circumstances of being desired by this Rogue Trader House. He draws himself to his full height and looks down on you and says, I will leave to remain there for now, and I intend to negotiate with Chaderius and Darkwind line for a transfer of your services as paid to this office for the level of service he believes you provide him, rather than the level you actually provide, the agency you actually work for. Enjoy your vacation for Velamris, because when Lucht spends you back, because he does not want to pay for your pathetic services, you will suffer, and you will learn that suffering will cleanse your soul and give way to the God Emperor's wisdom inside you.
Give me just a moment. I've had a witty thought. I gotta make sure I phrase it right.
You really want to sass someone who can
No,
all
I'm
the
supposed to
faith?
be sassy.
Okay.
He's because I think he would say something back that would be along the lines of, we at some point we'll have to stand in the Emperor's light. If that's what my path is, then that's what it is. But he doesn't necessarily want it. Like, he wants to throw just a little bit of heat, but he also recognizes that if it was any more than that, it's liable to come right back at him. So he's not trying to be outright belligerent.
We cut back to, well, I'll give you a moment to think. We cut back to Rassie. You are assigned 3 ciphers who are the highest ranking available subordinates that he can set for you. So what these guys are highly specialized message runners. One of them will remain with you at all times. The others will either be rotating through sleeping or like off activities, and the third one will be running messages from the administratum to you. And when I say running messages, I mean that literally. I don't mean they'll take a car.
Okay.
You can give him a car, though.
You can give them a car. They'll Fred Flintstone the car. So the 3 ciphers are standing before you. None of their names are important. Some of them begin going through the paperwork and showing you like what is urgent and why. Some of the urgent requests are like imminent breakout of rebellion, suspected chaos influenced by the ecclesiarchy on the wrathful righteous, a request for law enforcement, and possibly arbitrages to infiltrate the group and determine level of loyalty. Stuff like that.
Okay.
There's an urgent request in here for the return of ammunition to a local naval commander that has yet to be countersigned yet. Like, it was sent months ago when the ammunition was first stolen, and hasn't, like, they assumed they were never going to hear anything about it. No one has sent like a, oh, we have the ammunition now sort of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just walking you through all the local problems.
Well, I will see. I'll lean over
You're
to.
about to say something when someone kicks open the door to Master Garot's chambers. They are a tall man that we've seen before, Inquisitor Profundus. He's wearing his pilgrim hat with a giant ass fucking inquisitorial eye on it, and like lots of silver all over his body, tons of Kingdom Hearts character design style like belts for a shirt, and like random ass belts on his legs, like leggings are made of belts as well. He says, Imperial Commander, I have come to inform you that I'm moving the local watch post facility and we will infiltrate it by morons. I require a building within the confines of your particular ability to procure for us. Choose a building from any of these 3 facilities that we may base a new cover operation from. We're going to be making a record label called Cover Operation that will make covers of popular musical songs.
Sounds quite clever, and I'll reach out to receive these 3 buildings so I can see which one I want to get in.
No. He's not asking you to choose between 3 buildings. He's asking you to choose a building anywhere in the 3 asteroids.
Oh, okay.
And they will remove everyone inside, possibly killing them, and remake it as their new business cover operation.
Okay.
Featuring DJ Profundus. DJ Profundus.
Um. Okay. Is he asking for me to give him a building right now, or is he
He
telling me
is
that I need to
standing in front of you, hands clasped behind his back, putting all the weight on his heels, seemingly waiting for you to instantaneously make a decision.
Oh man, is there any kind of role I could make to see about like an appropriate facility to give him?
How much do you know about inquisitorial operations?
I know so little, but I do know about running discipline organizations and their requests.
I
That's
wish
what he's
this
going
game
off.
had bureaucracy like it starts with that number. It's truly the greatest skill of all time. I will take intuition skill.
Could I do, because it's an organizational thing, could I do intuition people?
Yeah.
Because this is okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I would have said surroundings, but I'm guessing you don't have that. So I'll take whatever you can throw if you have people.
I will spend 8 points for advantage.
Sure. Now listen, if there's an organization that we've seen so far, or a business that you don't like and would like to be destroyed, you can guide this guy to there. Like if you want to clean up your environment with King Hardbottle, now that you got all of the stuff, anywhere like the King Hardbottle facility would be perfect for your DJ. It's already got music making facilities in there. You could send the Inquisition there. You could send him to the old hideout of the Tunnel Snakes. You could send him literally anywhere. You got this perfectly on lockdown and can explain anywhere you want this guy. If not, you can just choose generic buildings that will, discover a few dozen people that allow the Inquisition to move operations.
I like the idea of setting them up where the tunnel snakes were, for not just like not Rassie not intending to convenience the Inquisition, such as if the tunnel snakes were able to organize and have established like operation there, then there's clearly more things for the Inquisition to find in that area. Instead of setting him up in his own workspace to go pick people up near them.
All right. He looks at the facility you sent him to and goes, "You would like us to set up an inquisitorial watch point in the sewers of this particular asteroid, which had an unauthorized exit hole into hard void space carved into the floors."
If there is a place on the station that requires watching, it occurs to me that those that might be of particular interest to you might seek to operate in an area like that.
An ingenious man, my lord. Truly, you have shown wisdom that few Imperial commanders have shown. And then he takes the paper from you, he slaps his hand against it and says, "I will begin process immediately." And he turns his heels and he marches out.
All right.
We cut back to Velamris with his whippy quip that he's got ready right now. He thought about it the whole time and didn't get distracted or forget it.
No, not even once. Refresh my memory though. What was the last thing that he said?
Okay,
It
we
was
skip
something
past this. No,
Yeah.
you're not doing it. No,
No, I still was gonna
he's putting you on loan to the road trader on the assumption that the road trader will pay a outrageous amount to keep you.
and that he won't actually pay it and send it back.
Yes. Either way, he wins. Either you are punished and suffer in a way that truly no one can argue with. Like, you yourself have agreed to this plan. That you believe that your skills are worth more with the rogue trader because your skills here are worth nothing. So if you get sent back, he gets to punish you, and it's very fun for him because he doesn't do this often. Most people don't admit that their skills are truly worthless to the organization that they work for. That's a clear cut. He skipped PIP phase. All right, he's going to go straight to torment, torture, and servitory. Then no one's going to double check this one.
No, it's corrective measures.
Corrective measures, right? You have waived your right to correct measures. All right.
I think it's going to be redeployment to the most suitable.
The role most suited for is cleaning toilets. On the other hand, if you are as really impressive to the rogue trader as you implied, he's going to pay a ton of rare resources by the rogue trader and get a rogue trader's favor in the press, which, considering that the rogue trader technically controls this place and is like, this place exists basically for the rogue trader, the whole series of islands, pretty deal.
So I think ultimately
There's a win-win situation you've managed to talk him into. You are standing there trying to quip and have something that's called the wit of the staircase, where you only feel the clever thing to say once you start walking down the staircase to go home. So after you leave the party, you think the only thing you wish you could have said at the party.
Yeah, no, and that's usually how it goes for a lot of my arguments and discussions. I think
Okay.
he definitely does the, at some point after Duro, all of us must stand in the light of the Emperor and be judged for what we have or have not done. If this is the course that leads me to that moment in time, so be it.
He never even heard you because he started walking away as you were talking.
Yeah, he's already thinking about the money that he may or may not get.
James, you seem busy. Can we cut to you talking to Lila?
I flicked a note in Discord saying I'm just dealing with this work situation that's blown up.
Well,
So.
we can break here for this particular episode if you would like.
I mean, if you're with Rassie and time-wise, I said
If we end early, I can take a break before Gentlemen of the List tonight because I have another show after this.
it sounds like a win-win then.
It does sound like a win-win, and I
I
don't
do
even
wanna-
have to servitorize anyone in the
I
process.
do want to say though that what we should do for Velamris though is pick one of the things that we have used from the stuff we had that might be of value to the administratum and like send it to that guy, or half the rogue trader, to say thank you for letting us keep such a valuable,
It's actually a really good idea.
such a valuable administrator that's so important to our business.
Oh my
That's a
god!
really good idea.
What
actually.
a bribe! Unreal! What a mind game you play. You're really banking on the rogue trader hiring you in the end, though.
Well, we need that guy to think that you deliberately fluffed your assessment so that you could stay with the rogue trader, and you're actually a lot better than you let on. But the rogue trader sees that, which is why the rogue trader was rewarding the administrator so well.
So in deceit, his hindsight is, I got hustled. Very well done. Represent us well.
So it is a little early to offer you all of these things, but I am going to go ahead and do it because the next few things to happen are going to be Holly's meeting with Lila, Holly's meeting before the Blue Ribbon Commission, and then an invasion of the Space Hulk. And after that point, we're basically on break in character for several months until the rogue trader assumably returns. And the thing is, his vessel's been delayed to warp, so he has yet to actually arrive at his destination and begin the campaign of planetary domination.
He did arrive. It just
Time is really right now because of the way that this end part is working. So I'm offering you all a salary of $9,000. I believe it's 9,000 solars. 50 experience points. You may also take any of the following skills: any forbidden lore, Medicae, or linguistics that a rogue trader would reasonably have access to. And you may add a new patron boon to the list of boons the patron offers you.
Add a new patron to that list? Oh, wait.
A new boon. Boons are on page 29. You chose as many boons as you could in order to stack up the drawbacks as well.
But presumably it's going to be a boon that a trader could buy, right?
Yes, it does have to be from his list. There are only a few left, but, it's a free boon.
Yeah, we took 3, didn't we? Didn't we take
Void Ship, Connoisseur, and Drop Squad. And you also have Marshal Training Facility as well.
Yeah, Void Ship is one you for free.
Yes.
Yeah, and Connoisseur and Drop Squad. Okay.
What does Connoisseur do again?
Connoisseur is when interacting with your patron, you have advantage on availability quests. You can even option to acquire equipment with mastercrafted or ornamental quality.
We can get nice things.
Yeah.
Really nice things.
Yeah, Drop Squad got Rassie's group.
Yep. Whose names I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
We can maybe discuss that on Discord after the fact.
Sure.
Okay,
I dumped a whole bunch of stuff on you once.
That's one boon for the group, not one for each.
That is correct. The boon is one patron boon per story.
So when you say take a skill, what do you mean by take a skill? So ideally put the ability...
The GM section says that you may take a form of specialization in forbidden lore, Medicae, or linguistic skills that a patron would have access to. Assumably, you are being taught by the organization of the rogue trader.
Yeah, so it's not a free skill, it's just the ability to spend XP towards that skill.
Yes, you may take the specialization in something you wouldn't normally be able to get.
Cool, all right.
Rassie is a firm believer in a small, tidy mind. I will not be taking forbidden lore.
Think about it, but
I know you are.
But I'm trying to think, what forbidden lord would Velamris, through the rogue trader, have access to at this moment? Maybe the Xeno information that he wouldn't otherwise have.
Or
there was the AdMech dump of the Tyranids, but
that's the rogue trader doesn't interact with that.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so that's actually out. There. Could I argue anything about the Forbidden Lore Inquisition type stuff based on our interactions with them?
Yeah. Profundus works direct and is the one who is funding this entire show, if you'll recall. The show is technically a training video on how rogue traders get away with their bullshit, and all of you are getting away with bullshit.
We are, frequently.
Yeah. Well, I ought to have been lobotomized by now.
Yeah, probably.
I guarantee that Velamris's enormous failure during his training and the discussion he has with Master Cyrus Garou is going to be its own case study for generations. People are going to be examining this and be like, how did someone so incompetent get a job in the Imperium?
And how was he not just mutilated on day
I've never heard anyone argue against their own interests so badly.
But do so well in doing it.
With this additional boon, it will not give us an additional liability.
That is correct.
Okay, that's cool.
That's a hard look at that.
For you then. So, I'm tempted by forbidden Medicae, but it's one thing that's got focus as well. And if I was to look at, if Holly's looking into the situation with the Chamberlain, would lead to something that the rogue trader is aware of and is okay with, and that's certainly like learning forbidden law around that would be something that she does in that process, but it's not something that the rogue trader was sanctioned if it's something that horrible and illegal going on, or like, you know, G still has infiltrated the association, then that would not be something that I guess you'd get
I
the
think
skills
enough
from,
weird fucked up stuff happens around here that you can sell me on forbidden lore Medicaid for sure.
Yeah, but it's got to have a focus though. Like it's forbidden law, so Medicaid forbidden. It's got to be something like you know, a particular Xeno, particular. It's got to have a focus.
This rogue trader has a hard on for murdering greenskins.
Okay.
Sure. I will also say that Drakeland is definitely Xenos, and so if you are forbidden lore,
Yeah.
shapeshifter.
Well, I mean, it's Medicaid forbidden Xenos. I think it's specifically.
Yeah,
it's like,
sure.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Absolutely, you can pick something like that up.
right. Yeah, as opposed to things like, you know, forbidden by experimentation, or, you know, dark mechanicum implants, etc.
Forbidden lore Blackstone, and then you just dream about standing in front of a plinth made of Blackstone and hear ominous tinnitus noises every night you wake up, sweating while dreaming of the Blackstone.
What's the commercial we see with on the side, like Trez and the Infinite appears before me. He says, "Who are you and how did you get here?" And he says, "I'm Trez the Infinite, and I'm Trez the Infinite."
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
I got that Warhammer Plus, like we had talked about once, James.
Oh, I'm gonna getting that for 1 month.
Yeah, do the 1 month thing. But
Definitely.
I watched I already forgot the name of it, but the one that was like 3 or 4 episodes with Space Marine and the Sister of Battle.
Oh yeah, the Salamander and the Sister of Battle,
Yeah,
which is basically supposed to be like a continuation of the video they put up at the start of Ninth Edition to sell edition.
Oh, okay.
The Space Marines and Tyranids battling on a planet.
Yeah, it was pretty good though. It was some deep stuff near, especially towards the end, but it was pretty good. Pretty good. And then I started watching Black Talon, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna stick around with that one too long, but we'll see.
Yeah, I will say, AP, that I'm gonna drop Amazon Prime after The Boys finishes. I'm
Episode 7
protesting.
was fucking bullshit, man.
I'm protesting against their addition of ads to the standard package.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just how whatever Disney Plus, Netflix. I'm not protesting against that. I'm protesting against The Boys season 4 has been dumb as fuck, man.
Netflix split the base price up and then bought in a new lower tier which had ads. Amazon just said, the tier right now is ads. You got to pay more if you don't want to have ads.
Okay.
And even though the net outcome's the same, I'm protesting this one.
I see. I understand.
I was talking to somebody the other day how funny it is that all these advertisements, like when Netflix started and I guess streaming is all supposed to be how we get away from cable TV, and now we're coming full circle to just become internet cable TV.
Well, it was all heavily subsidized, and there was incredible loan and interest rates that really pushed that market, and now we're at the point where everything's about the money.
Coming to you. My son's begging me for Crunchyroll.
I like Crunchyroll. I also just ended my Crunchyroll sub after years of being subscribed to it.
Especially because I just bought a new smart TV for the kids' room up here, and you know some TVs on the remote have buttons for like Netflix. Like this one has a Crunchyroll button on the remote. It's like, sure, we can get it now.
Crunchyroll was bought by Funimation, and then they decided to. It's the anime site.
Yeah. My kids all want to watch Dragon Ball Z now, apparently.
Wow. Why not just, you could save money and just get to watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged? It honestly would have been better, although there are some jokes there that would not be appropriate for children, I guess.
Yeah.
They have the whole Mr. Popo is black.
Yeah, they really leaned into Mr. Popa.
Oh no, I'm thinking Naruto, where one of the characters is, I think he's literally named Uncle Purdy or something like that.
Yeah, you're talking about Jiraiya.
Yep. Yeah, Uncle something or other, and my son at the time was like 8 or 9 maybe, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
The story of how Naruto got made is actually so incredible to me. And let's just be clear, in case you don't know how Naruto and Shippuden end, it ends with Naruto creating a harem of beautiful men to seduce the final villainess to distract from Sasuke completing the mission and murdering her or something, I guess. So that's literally how the Fourth Great Ninja World War was run, was by President Naruto using sex as a weapon.
Wow.
The ninja president. But originally, Naruto was just going to be about Naruto, and the people who funded the manga, no, that's not enough. We need a young Japanese man who has black hair, and that's going to be the main character of the story. Write this guy Sasuke in. He's like, I don't want to, and they're like, do it, or we're not going to publish you. So the entire Sasuke storyline was not planned,
And everything about Sasuke was forcibly added by corporate. And that's why he's so fucking annoying, is because the author doesn't like him. But he can't get rid of him because they won't publish him unless they have a young Japanese black-haired individual who became the villain and that did nothing wrong. What's wild. The production of Naruto is insane. I don't mean the production value, I mean how it got made. Are we good for next week?
I am.
We double check. I'm pretty sure I am. I was going to try to double check to see when it's coming up. Next week being the 21st. Yep. The week after, so I can't do the 28th.
Okay, we'll get that in schedule.
And I can't do the 4th of August.
What a tragedy.
Not tragedy of Dark Plagueis.
I wish it was, though. 28th, 4th, we're out of both nights. I didn't hear anything from you. You good? Not good?
I should be good.
Okay. Did I ever hear back from you about Stars That Numbers? Look, so I was certain whether we're actually beating. I see everybody checked in. Okay. Oof. I mean, this real last episode energy coming up for that show.
I feel like you've been saying that for weeks and weeks and weeks.
No, let me be clear. I've said this could be the last episode for weeks and weeks and weeks. Kain has made no secret of the plan that he is going to attempt to hack the robot brain. And that's like the end of the game, man. That's the final boss right there. If he does it, succeed or fail, that's, we're flipping over the epilogue.
Yeah, it feels like a pretty make this skill roll to determine the epilogue you get for the campaign.
Now, you do have some choices there. You could destroy it, or you could control it. Alternatively, you could create a synthesis between it and humans. I'm going to represent this by RGB choices.
This is very much like some of the possible Mass Effect endings.
That's because I'm correctly taking the terminology from that, yeah.
We'll have to see what it chooses to use as its avatar if I succeed in the skill roll to talk to me about what I can do.
Obviously, it's going to be some child that you've never seen
It's a
before.
small child. I have been around for millions of years.
I've learned that this form is the most visually and aesthetically pleasing with which to interact with you.
Leaving Earth plays in the background. You weep as the Reaper horns play. This is what the story has come to, the small child.
The Reaper horns.
That's it, audience.
Will they get like a what was the DLC called that gave you sort of like one up on the Citadel? It's the Citadel DLC, wasn't it?
Citadel.
Yeah, will they then get an epilogue?
I think so.
Prologue?
I think we're basically
But they
guaranteed
have
to
to-
get a post-game Dunamis Goes Home episode. We basically
there you go.
have to at this point.
And it has to be told in
we are so
retrospect,
committed
so it
to
actually
it.
takes place before the boss fight, but so nobody knows what the outcome is going to be.
No, we already did that with the hyperboat racing.
Oh, never mind.
We already did so this story happened previously, but we're gonna do it now.
One cooldown episode. Have it be part of our. I don't know.
We'll see. Friends, we'll be back next week, probably. Maybe it could happen. I'm going to be on Ticking Time Bomb Gaming's channel in about 40 minutes for Beltec Gentlemen of the List for our first real battle.
Ooh.
And it's
Great
probably
odds.
going to be the whole episode. Although, like with Kane's decision, there is a possibility they could critical and kill the boss. It's Battletech, so they could just critical get him and kill him in one round. And I'll be like, okay, we're 5 minutes in and we're basically done with the battle tonight, so I can do a roleplay episode.
But will they be able to create a synthesis between elements?
No.
No word of Blake yet?
No word of pitch it. Now, first off, the people
I
who
don't know
created...
if I